practically wound up. Spencer's came in a big way in the retail, and he has practically closed most of the supermarkets in most of the major cities because most of them are unviable. He could run it unviable for a couple of years, but then being a big corporate man, he had the resources to do that. Therefore, it's very important. Therefore, once you are growing at a very speed, saying that I want to start 100 branches, I want to, recently we were in Chennai, me and Natarajan in a particular meeting, and his ambition is to start 150 hospitals in the next 2 years. So the thing is that it's possible. It is possible because there are people ready to fund you to start that. But then you should not do it just because X or Y is doing it. That's not the way things happen. You need to analyze your strengths. You need to analyze what are your potentials. You need to analyze as to what level it's possible for you to grow, and then you can decide what to do. That's very important. So the most important thing is taking risks. This is very, very important. I think in our profession or any profession, unless and until we are in a position to take risks, it's not possible for us to grow. The risk may be anything. Risk may be starting a new hospital. Like you are having a small clinic. From the clinic you make it into a hospital. That's a risk because you're investing a lot of money. Or you are starting a new surgical procedure. And I think when you do these things, there is an element of risk, but then you must have the motivation to take that risk. Without risk, there is no growth. So this is again very, very important. Like for example, they say that most successful people have more failures. The number of failures that successful people have is much, much more than any other ordinary person because they have taken that risk. They have had the motivation to take that risk. And as Natarajan said, it is only the 1000th time, isn't it, when Thomas Edison finally invented the incandescent lamp. So it's after 1000 trials that he did. Therefore, he failed 999 times. So even after that many failures, he did not give up. And therefore, unless and until you are able to accept failures, unless and until you are able to accept complications, that doesn't mean that every other case should be a complication. You have to analyze. But then in any new surgical procedure that we try to learn, there are going to be problems, and that's when you need someone like a mentor who is able to help you to overcome that particular phase of your surgical career. This is very, very important, and that's why it is very, very important that you have a tie-up with someone who is a senior person in your place or in your neighborhood who is able to help you to tide over that particular situation, because learning new surgical skills is a very important part of surgical ophthalmology practice. I think without that we cannot survive. It has to go on, and if that has to be made possible, it's only possible through taking some element of risks. See, in the Western world, they don't have any free cases. They don't have any camp surgeries, but still they're able to master surgery. I think what Badrinath taught us is to practice in the animal eye. Very often he used to say that if you're not able to do something, come on Sundays, sit with the animal eye and learn it. Because as he said, the first time I saw an operating microscope was when I joined Shankar Nethralaya. We had never seen an operating microscope. And suddenly, overnight you are asked to sit, hand-eye coordination, nothing, the hand moves somewhere, so you're totally at sea. It's like fish out of water. And finally, many of us at that time, he used to call us late evening and say, look here, for 2-3 weeks, it's better you come on Sundays and practice with the animal eye. Now, this is something which our professor never told us. So we used to think that we are not fit. We are not fit to operate on a human eye. So we are now being delegated to practice in the human animal eye. But actually, to be very frank, that makes a sea of difference. And I have learned so many procedures. Actually, when I started 23 gauge a couple of years ago, the first time, just before I punctured it on the human eye, I wanted to get the feel as to how it is. So one Sunday, I just got one set of the instruments and just tried it on an animal eye, on a goat's eye, and then I got the feel. I said, okay, this is how it feels, because that's very important. Because when you want to try anything new, to put it straight on a page, and we don't have, it's not correct for us to explain. Agreed, in India we have these camp patients with whom most of us have learned surgery or even learning surgery in big corporate or big hospitals. They are the ones who are the guinea pigs. But actually it's really not correct. Whenever we learn any new surgical procedure, unfortunately simulators are very expensive. Otherwise, it can be done. Like VR simulators, the eyesight is very, very expensive. I think it costs nearly 80 lakhs for one simulator. So the best way to learn is using the animal eye. So this is something which unfortunately is not being practiced in our country to a great extent. But that's what we learned when we were in Shankar Nethralaya. So finally, what is leadership as a doctor of medicine? Is it the degrees we possess? No. Is it the years of experience in this field of profession? To a certain extent, yes. Because to achieve leadership, you need experience. Is it the awards and recognition that come your way? To a certain extent, yes. But awards and recognition is acceptance that yes, you have become a leader now. That's basically what it is. Wealth that you create, never. Because that's not what the end result is. The purpose is to serve the community. And all of us, if we are in private practice, always we must devote a little time to some sort of a community-oriented work. And today, for this community-oriented work, there are so many other avenues. It's not just cataract surgery. There are so many other avenues. You can start a low vision aid center because this is a huge area. Unfortunately, it's an untapped area, low vision aids. There are very, very few centers in our country having this low. It's not an expensive thing. It doesn't need a big investment. It doesn't need a great qualification also. What you need is only an optometrist or even if you have one optometrist in your clinic, you can train them in low vision aids. But that's a great service you will be doing to a large number of visually handicapped persons. You won't believe. There are so many youngsters who want to go to work in an office. You give them a proper reading low vision aid, he can read and he can go and sit in the office and he can work for a couple of hours. So it makes a quality change in the individual. So small things like that you can add on in your clinic and that will really boost and that improves the image of your enterprise. It really improves the image because you are doing something which hardly anyone is doing. These are all areas still very untapped in our ophthalmology practice. Then the social circle that influences you. This is very, very important actually. The social circle that influences you. Because you need to have a rapport with the society. In our profession, especially when you're working in smaller places or in small areas, you need to have a rapport with the community, within NGOs, with the various clubs there, etc., who are all involved in a lot of social activities. This again will help you to cultivate a rapport, cultivate new projects, and thereby improve your practice. And number of patients you examine every day, no, that's not what you ultimately aim for. So the leadership in the medical profession, as I said initially, is the professional recognition that you get from your own colleagues, teachers and seniors in your profession. I think this is what all of you should try and achieve sometime in your career, that your colleagues, your seniors and your own teachers tell, yes, my student, he is really doing very well, he is doing quality work and he is now a leader. Now, Nati spoke a lot about Dr. Badrinath. See, these are all, individuals who have, contributed so much to science and also to the practice of ophthalmology. Dr. L.P. Agarwal, who created the Rajendra, I don't know any of you who has graduated from RP Center? Yeah. Now RP Center, do you know that who is the man behind RP Center? L.P. Agarwal. He was the man behind, but these are all disciplinarians. Some of my friends who are doing postgraduate and other specialties, they used to wonder, what is there in the ophthalmology? The students going up and down and coming back here. Late evening at 6 o'clock, 6:30. So these are taskmasters. They brought in discipline. See, the most important, Dr. Badrinath, 6:30 in the morning, he is in Shankar Nethralaya, and sometimes he will come by bus. If his driver has not come, he will just take the bus and reach at 6:30 in the morning. And they leave at 11 in the night. So basically, and as he said, they are never tired. Even at 11 in the night, they are quite bright. And that's because work is not stress. They work with passion. And that is how I think they have been able to create institutions of excellence. And most important, they have created hundreds of ophthalmologists